Alright, here we go. Welcome to this video. My name is Mike Phi. I'm a freelance illustrator, character commission artist. And today we're drawing this Svirfneblin Ranger. I actually live streamed the first 5 or 6 hours of this drawing on YouTube, but if you've been following it all, I just couldn't bear to put you through another couple hours just to see how this thing wraps up. So here we are with another speed video. This one's sped up 10 times. Here I am rendering all the facial hair. He's got super bushy ears and nose hair, crazy eyebrows. And 3 big scars across his face from an earlier encounter with an Umber Hulk. Try to make him look pretty nasty, like a ripping wound, but long healed, so he's fine. Here I am shading the arms with a big soft brush at first, and then I can go in and add in hard cast shadows and further define the forms. Once, I get the shading generally where I want it with the big soft brush, I can go in and adjust. And then finally I pick out little highlight areas on top. I like to use the hatching for the highlights, just so it matches the line work underneath. Here I'm adding the rope layer. I don't know if I do it all now. No. I basically made a layer on top of the base layer so that I could pick out all the elements of his belt, the belt loop, the ropes, the pouches, on a layer just on top of the basic tone layer. Helps me render and shade that in without having to be careful about the edges. There I am working on the body of the crossbow, trying to add a wood grain texture. Yeah, go back to the eyes. Still wasn't happy with them. A little too orbular. I don't think that's a word, but wanted to remove that bulbous eyeball effect by changing the lower eyelids a bit. But I still wanted to keep that wide-eyed look of bewilderment as best I could. Drawing in some mushrooms here try to really not rush the base of this character. I was having fun with this part. Even when clients don't pay for or request a background, I usually like to give them some kind of environment at their feet, kind of like the way you would base a miniature. You know, add some rubble or tufts of grass at least. I don't do it every time. It's just some characters, especially small ones like gnomes here, can benefit from a little height standing on a tactical rock or something. Yeah, these mushrooms were really fun to draw. The key thing to think about is the ellipse that forms the umbrella part. You just need to pay attention to whether or not you can see the underside or just the top side of each mushroom. But it doesn't totally matter because they could grow at any angle, sort of. I used a much softer brush towards the bottom of the rocks just to kind of fade it out a little bit. Don't want to draw the eye to the bottom of the image like that. And a bunch of hard lines would, that would draw your eye a little too much. I think doing an elaborate Underdark mushroom field background would be pretty fun in the future. Underdark is definitely my favorite setting in D&D. Almost done these mushrooms. People often wonder why I don't use the lasso tool, or the magic wand rather, to fill in these shapes. And I just find, in my version of Photoshop at least, which is getting kind of old, I can't get a clean enough edge. So I usually prefer to just go in and draw that fill layer manually. Takes longer, but I just like the result more, so I'm happy to put the time into it. Sometimes I don't. If all the line work is very sharp and dark, the magic wand tool will work a little better. And you won't see the jagged edge that it creates. I'm filling in a base tone for all the mushrooms on a layer just on top of the basic layer, the basic tone layer. That way I can shade them in without affecting the rocks underneath. Or add cast shadows to the rocks without covering up the mushrooms themselves. It's handy to keep stuff like that on layers, but at the same time, I think it's a good practice to keep your layers to a minimum if you can. The situations will vary, but the more painting you do on one layer, the more natural it is, if you can get away with it. The more natural the experience of painting it, I would say. Doesn't really affect the end result. Yeah, see, now that they're all shaded in, I can easily adjust the tones without going outside the lines. I thought a bunch about making the backdrop to this image really dark and then popping out all the fungus with like bioluminescence, but the sky has come to the surface, so I didn't want to. This is like a happy medium. He could still be on the surface. There's mushrooms up here too. I just didn't want to make it look like he was totally in the Underdark. Yep, just like with the arms, I start with a big soft brush. Decide, generally where I want the shadows to be. On the lower legs, on the surfaces that are pointed up, I would add a little brightness. And I switch back to the rocks. I always jump around. I put a lot of care into the base of this one. Sometimes I rush that stage a little bit, but not in this case. Yeah, here I am finishing the ropes and all the utilities on his belt. And I switched from a light rope to a dark rope. I think living in the Underdark, you would usually have dark everything, Even his potato sack outfit is probably too light. Will stick out like a sore thumb if he's hanging out in some deep gnome city. It was fun trying to represent that loose weave texture of the potato sack. There I deleted what I had worked on. It was a little too harsh. Adding some more subtle highlights this time around. My trick for rendering metal is super simple. I just push the highlights all the way to white, make a bunch of little hot spots where the glint might appear. value range goes a long way to determine the type of surface you're trying to mimic. Something like that potato sack would be dull, so the difference between the highest highlight and the darkest shade shouldn't be as extreme as it would be on some of the metallic buckles, which would go from almost black to pure white. That's really all it takes to render different materials, is adjusting the value range. You can go really far with that alone. Alright, we're coming to the end here. I just wrap up these legs and feet, and then it's done. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this 20-minute video was a little more tolerable than a 2-hour live stream VOD. So, thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.